Hello everybody, and welcome to my thoughts and reaction to Halo Infinite's campaign overview. For those that don't know, Halo dropped a 6-minute campaign overview that gave a quick look at the story and showed new gameplay and enemies. It was brilliant, and we're going to have a quick look at it very soon, but first let me remind everybody of what I thought about the previous campaigns. Halo 1's campaign is a terrific introduction to the world of Halo. It makes this universe feel like an expansive and deep living world without ever overwhelming the player with information and making them think that they are starting at the wrong place in time. Halo 2's story is a genuine masterpiece and probably my favourite of all the Halo games. While some of the levels can be a bit linear, the story is absolutely phenomenal and perfectly follows off from the events of the first game, whilst also expanding and improving some concepts. The abrupt ending and unfair legendary difficulty can be a bit frustrating, but overall the campaign is so good that you will quickly forget about those problems. Halo 3 is not only one of the greatest Xbox 360 games of all time, but one of the best games ever made, full stop. The campaign is a fitting ending to the series and perfectly encapsulates the Halo experience up until that point in time. It came out with, in many people's eyes, the best Halo campaign. Maybe my favourite two. I'm really undecided between 2 and 3 stories, and it was the highest grossing entertainment day one release for a reason. Halo Wars is a brilliantly simple RTS that provides a nice insight into how the Human Covenant War was in the early days. It has great characters, a great story, and beautiful cutscenes that even hold up somewhat to this day. It is a very good experience that I would highly recommend if you have not tried it, which a lot of people didn't, especially when compared to Halo 3's numbers. That same year we got Halo 3 ODST, which is a story that I used to never like, but has slowly grown on me over time. The shift in character strength and playstyle can seem a little jarring at first, but I've really come to appreciate the more human story being told by this game. Also, I like how well it ties into Halo 2, so my main gripe with this game is why was it called Halo 3 ODST when it has a whole lot more to do with Halo 2? Halo Reach is a game that I never understood all of the hype around. To be fair, that could be because I enjoy the Halo stories more than the multiplayer, but Reach never made me as excited or giddy as any of the other games. It's still a great game though. There are parts that I do like, the way in which Spartans are picked off one by one and the fact that you know that the fight is lost even before it begins, but I also think that last point kind of hinders the game a little, as with every win that you get throughout the game, you know it means absolutely nothing and is just a bit depressing overall. Having said all of this, the flying mission in the game is the best level in any game ever made, do not at me. Halo 4 is a confusing mess of a game with some of the best character work in the series, but a weak story, bad villain, and a disconnect from the rest of the series from a narrative perspective. I really like the story between Cortana and Chief, and how Chief returns to a universe that has moved on without him. That moment where he saves the UNSC Infinity and he sees all of the Spartans rushing out, even though you can't see his face, you know his facial reaction perfectly. But for all of the good in the game, there is something else wrong. The game was very clearly trying to be more like a COD game, and it was really weird. Also, Captain Idiot in charge of the Infinity was a bit of an unnecessary obstacle that felt really forced. Overall, a good game, but a very weird Halo game that I'm not overly keen to revisit. Halo Spartan Assault and Halo Spartan Strikes are both cynical products that were made as a feeble attempt for Microsoft to sell more Nokia Lumias. Their stories are garbo, and I have already devoted more time to writing this than Microsoft did planning the story, so that's all the time that they will be getting. Halo 5's story is a personal insult to anybody that has so much as ever read a children's book. It seems to actively resent being a Halo game and barely features the Master Chief. It truly baffles me that they thought that advanced movement, hit markers in campaign, new art style, turning Cortana evil, repeating a boss battle 1,000 times, introducing 476 new characters, having a deceptive marketing campaign, killing off Jordan Dharma in the first mission, removing split screen, etc. would be a good idea. Besides all of that, the game is not fun. The game is far too easy, even on Legendary with skulls, and it is far too short. An absolute mess of the game. That's only redeeming aspect is the multiplayer, which even then has its own major flaws. Halo Wars 2 was a return to decency for the series. The campaign is not utterly fantastic, but it is definitely good. It would be great if it was longer and had more cutscenes because they look absolutely gorgeous, but overall, it's a solid story with good characters and improved gameplay from Halo Wars 1, and so I would recommend this game to those who haven't played it. So, now that you know where we stand, you can understand why I am so intensely hyped for this game. We haven't had a Halo campaign for 4 years. My body is ready.
Since the beginning, Halo was about Master Chief and Cortana.
Yes! Yes! 1,000 times yes!
I am so happy to hear that.
Humanity is fighting for survival.
I really like how the series is returning to humanity being outmatched and fighting against the odds. It's what the best games in this series were about, and I think that it's great that 343 have finally recognised that fact.
The Banished have risen, defeated our heroes, and taken control of the mysterious Zeta Halo.
It's also nice to see Halo being about the Halo rings again.
We need a savior. We need hope. We need Spartan 117, Master Chief.
All good signs so far. Great that they seem to be taking feedback on board, and that we will be playing as Master Chief and not some wannabe cardboard cutout version from Wish.
We have a new mission, soldier.
What is it? What's down there?
A weapon.
A weapon? How many guns do you need?
In the biggest campaign to date, Halo Infinite invites players to become Master Chief and discover true Spartan freedom in the most wide-open and adventure-filled Halo experience yet.
This seems like a natural evolution of Halo Combat Evolved, which I'm getting a lot of vibes of, which is a good thing. The second mission of Halo CE was a beautifully expansive level, so if this game can make something more expansive and more immersive than that, it can only be a good thing.
His first mission is to retrieve a new AI, codenamed the Weapon.
Again, I like this. Halo works best when Chief is talking to an AI, and this could serve as a great way to introduce people into the world of Halo.
Following the events of Halo 5,
What did she do that was so wrong?
To be honest, Weapon, I don't blame you for not playing Halo 5's campaign.
Order received. Stand by.
Right, calling in vehicles seems boss, but why have they just dropped it onto the ground? Imagine that, you call in a vehicle and it's destroyed before you even get in it. The lack of fall damage seems very interesting.
from the beginning of the Halo saga, Master Chief has been a hero, ready to fight and win.
Fight and win!
You're safe now.
I love how this bit's been memed to death, but it's true. You're safe now. Immediately drives off a 100-foot cliff with Marines that die like flies. Boss battles could be a lot of fun in Halo, provided the enemies are not just regular brutes with a bit more health. Also, the overlay is an interesting choice. I would have preferred it to look more like the fight versus Tartarus in Halo 2. No overlay, just brutes dying when they die.
Players now have more freedom than ever before to take down the Banished any way they choose.
That map looks exquisite.
Banished facility up ahead, Chief. What do we do?
Shut it down. Permanently.
Now, these look like they have the potential to be really fun. However, a lot of games like to have these outposts, and they're fun for the first 3 or 4 times you do them, and then they just become tedious to do. It would be great if the Banished could retake certain facilities or rebuild them over time, depending on the territory. So say like, if you were on the edge of your territory, they might send a force to retake the facility, but if you were deep inside your area, then they couldn't. Either that will make sure every single version is noticeably different from the last.
What do we have here?
The upgrade system is an interesting addition to Halo, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. Yes! It is very nice to see the Gravity Hammer having gravity effects again, unlike in the multiplayer beta.
Do you see that?
Could be useful, if you like that kind of thing.
Oh, I like it.
Chief is going to have some of his best one-liners in this game. Mark my words, you can just feel it.
Tank beats everything.
Defying the odds to take down the Banished.
If I were to say something negative so far, the grapple looks really slow to use and honestly a bit boring, but it could be that you can upgrade it to go faster, so I'm not overly fussed at this present moment in time.
And surprising new threats, like the agile skimmers.
Could have just given us back drones. Not buying that this is a new enemy type. This is one of my pet peeves in games, where they take something out for a few years and then put something very similar or exactly the same into a newer game, and then say, look, it's new. Don't you like this new thing? EA do it all the time, and it really grinds my gears. It's like they're trying to take you for a mug, and I ain't no mug.
A sadistic Spartan killer named Jaga Erdamnai.
Say goodbye.
Look out, Chief. He looks...
Angry.
He looks epic. No other comment needs to be spoken.
And something even more threatening.
The Forerunner's lies are at an end. I am the harbinger of the truth. You are not the future.
2 things. 1. Her character design and attack looks absolutely great and quite inventive. 2. I love how the music in this section is a reimagining of classic Halo music. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Welcome to the new era of Halo.
Honestly, I am over the moon with excitement. This was a fantastic hype package for Halo Infinite. I saw people watch this and say the game needs a battle royale, which... Number 1? No. Number 2? It's a campaign overview. Number 3? Just make a Forge battle royale. I know Forge isn't coming with the release of Halo Infinite, but just wait until it comes. Overall, I have faith that the campaign will be very good. I like how they've kind of just ignored a lot of Halo 5 so they don't feel written into a corner by that. And the different art style to the other 343 games is great. My only worry for the campaign is that co-op won't be available at launch, which is sad, but I'm not sure if it's worth delaying the game for. Because, on the one hand, I want a finished product at launch. I feel like we should expect that as a community of games. But on the other hand, split screen is back at launch, so there is a way to play a co-op campaign, and it's also the classic Halo way. The main worries I have for Halo Infinite are to do with modes outside of campaign, such as Forge and multiplayer, but from a campaign perspective, I feel like there is now very little to worry about, and it seems that the advertising for this one has learned from the mistakes of Halo 5. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, then please leave a like, comment and subscribe. The channel has been receiving an immense amount of support recently, and I want to thank everybody for that, and I shall see you all later. Goodbye.